infection, but I'm okay. I'm happy to be doing this, and thank you for taking the time to do it.
Yeah. I guess at what, like 11 in the morning right now, something like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes. So you guys are doing you're opening the residency of the Scorpions, correct?
yeah. We've been, I guess we're like 5 shows, 6 shows in, 5 shows, and it's been great, man. Those guys are such professionals, they're just great, and they're great every night. They sound amazing. They treat us so great. So I mean, we got a new single out, and we have an opportunity to present that for a pretty big audience on a nightly basis. So I can't ask for anything to be going. I'd be very selfish if I asked for more than what we're being given right now.
Yeah, well, the new album, it's not due out till I guess September or something like that,
October.
fall. What's that?
October 14th,
October,
I
right?
believe.
So was it important to at least get a single out now because of the Scorpions tour, so you could have like a new song at least to get out to the audience?
Well, yeah, it kind of all fell into place sort of serendipitously. We had an idea of when we wanted to come out with the first track, and then we got the Scorpions thing, and we're like, we had to jiggle a couple things. So, but it worked out where it was feasible to do, and it just made perfect timing. Made perfect timing sense, I should say.
Now, what's the is it weird just like put out a song like so far in advance of an album dropping? I mean, it's like
Yeah.
here's our single, here's a new one. And it's a real, by the way, a really good song. I like it a
Thank you.
lot.
Yeah, I
It's
like it too. It's fun to play. Crowd seems to really be into it.
fun to listen to.
Yeah, it seems like it's one of those songs that maybe is counterintuitive to where we are in the world. Like, it just, hopefully it brings a smile to people's faces, makes them feel good. It's not heavy from a political or a stance or anything like that. It has nothing to do with that. It just gives hopefully listeners a chance to sort of escape for 3 minutes and 35 seconds. And
It almost has a feel. Gangs All Here is the song. It almost has a feel like that vibe of going back in the day and getting the gang all in the IROC Z and heading down to Seaside Heights to cruise the strip.
Dude, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly, it was so obvious, because when we were making the record, we were all in this room together, all having dealt with the pandemic on our own separate terms, as well as doing it together. And we felt such a great amount of gratitude for the fact that we were actually able to get back together in a room and make music again. And so this song was kind of born out of all that, and just again goes back to a lot of just the camaraderie amongst ourselves, and the camaraderie that we have with our friends, and that we have with our people who have stuck around with us for a long time. Again, nothing heavy, just like, right on, man, we're back. Like, all of us are together again, and it's great.
I always like to think of Skid Row too as the band that I probably at some point passed on the boardwalk at Seaside Heights back in the day, like as we were cruising for chicks,
Without a doubt. I'm sure you did. I mean, look, Rachel was born in Toms River, and he was a frequent visitor there, as I was every summer, and in Seaside and in Point Pleasant as well. So that's our stomping ground. So there's a really good chance you would have.
Now you got the new singer, Erik Grönwall, right? Is that how you say it? Because it's got the 2 dots over the O's to make it more metal,
Yeah, right. Exactly. Like the Motley Crue thing.
Now he's young, right? He's like mid-20s, correct?
No, he's 34.
Oh, he's 34. It's still, for guys like us, it's young.
Yeah.
It's what I would give to be that age again, But having a younger frontman now, does it kind of give like a little different energy in the band?
Well, it sure does. It's and for more reasons than just the youthful aspect of it. It's his lineage is such that he grew up on us, and when he auditioned for the Swedish version of American Idol, he auditioned 18 in a Life, ended up winning the thing. And then about a year or two ago, he found out he had cancer, and he had to go for bone marrow transplant. Here's a guy who just had a little baby and didn't know if he was going to make it. And so the transplant was successful. It's really interesting because the 1 year anniversary of his first treatment, I should say, was the first show he played with Skid Row. And the moment did not get lost on him. When he told us that, he's like, this is 1 year ago, I started treatment. I didn't even know if I was going to be alive a year ago. And now here I am, and I'm playing with my favorite band. And it's just, it was very humbling for all of us. And so the way he just exhibits his lust for life, there is nothing contrived there. That is all very, very real. And I look at that and I go, my gosh, man, like what a gift. He's a great singer. He's a sweetheart of a guy. And he definitely breathed some new life into this band. And, you know, when you watching him sing on stage and in the studio, because I'm actually right after I'm done with you, I'm going into the studio, me, him, and Rachel to finish up the vocals for the record. And he's a machine, man. He's a machine, and he's humble, and he's driven, and it's all the things that you want in a band member. And
the difference too is, you know, the singers you've had in the past and Sebastian, you know, they've been kind of like, you know, you found Johnny and then you found Tony, and then these guys were kind of like, you know, in your peers and as far as like age group and, you know, brought up together. Now you're bringing somebody who, like, you know, was, you know, a little kid when, you know, your band came out and got to be a super fan. And it's almost like Mark Wahlberg needs to go make Rockstar again. You know, it's like, you know, it's like a new version of that movie, you know, and you get to get up there and sing.
It really is. It's like a really, for me personally, it hits me really deeply because I could never understand unless I went through it, what he has gone through at such a young age. And to have mortality staring you in the face like that is gotta be overwhelming. But you know what? He's a fighter, and he grew up boxing and doing martial arts, and he's just starting to get back into all of that now, as his strength, as he recovers. But he is a fighter from the inside out, and that just shows in the way that he handled himself through all of that. Again, that facing of mortality right here, you know.
And some of the live videos that have been released already, you know, like like fan footage I've seen on Blabbermouth and what, you know, you always, you know, a cell phone video can only do you so much justice, but he was belting out those songs. I mean, he was like, I was really impressed with his live performance. It was amazing. He made it look effortless.
That's the word I keep using with him, because that's what it is. We were in a studio last week for, I don't know, like 5-6 hours, and he's just a machine. And you go, how, instead of doing that, how about this? And I have stupid falsetto. I'm like, ah, you know,
do that again.
And he's just effortless, and it's just he knows that he's been given something that is a gift, and he doesn't take it for granted. And when his cancer went into remission, and then, you know, for all intents and purposes been eradicated, he made a vow to himself that he was going to sing to the best of his ability for the rest of his life, because he was considering, you know, not singing anymore. And it just, you know, the cancer took a lot out of him. But when he started doing all these YouTube videos of him doing like Hallowed Be Thy Name from Maiden, or Heaven and Hell, or Mob Rules, or something like that, and Holy Diver while he's driving down the street in the car, singing it like it's nothing. And And that was therapy for him. And through all those is where we got the idea of we should reach out to him. And so when the opportunity arose where we noticed that things were going down a couple, different pathways between us and ZP, we realized that we need to fix this, and we need to fix it fast. And so we saw all those videos, and then he did a revamped version of 18 in Life as well. We're like, oh my God. So we sent them, we called them up and said, hey man, how would you feel about us sending you a track and, with a guide vocal and sing on it and see what happens. And it was Gangs All Here. And he sent it back 24 hours later. Rachel and I and Nick Raskulinis were like, this is a game changer. Like this is a game changer. And Rob and Scotty felt the same way. And so the next step was just to send him a couple more songs. And so thusly we essentially recorded his vocals remotely from Sweden to Nashville. And I mean, you would never know it. I certainly wouldn't be able to tell. And listening back, Nick is a pro, Raskulinis. He knows what he's doing. And when he said, we could do this remotely, I've done this before. He's got a great mic setup. He's got a good engineer over there. I just need to produce. And that's the way we've been doing it. And it's been crazy, because this is the exact opposite way you're supposed to do a record.
Well, isn't it crazy too? It's like, because I mean, that's how Journey kind of found their guy, was YouTube videos. And now here you guys, and now, I mean, there's, not like there's not enough YouTube singers out there. You have like a lot of people out there just putting stuff out and sending it to their favorite band to try to get it out there. But the one thing I really picked up too when I was listening to the live stuff is I was trying to hear, because I listen to like a lot of Euro metal. I like Amaranth and stuff like that,
Oh yeah.
And I'm trying to listen for an accent. I don't hear it. Like, he can sing. When he sings, the accent is gone. There's no accent there. It's amazing.
Funny. We every once in a while we catch him a little thing,
little bit,
very small, and we're like, okay, get rid of the IKEA. But he speaks English better than I do.
Now, what's the plan for Skid Row after this set of dates here with the Scorpions? I obviously got a record to finish up. You guys were, were you doing the bulk of all that work?
We'll be done with it today.
Oh, really?
As far as the recording goes. Yeah, everything's done. He's got a few little fixes to make on a couple songs. But for all intents and purposes, we'll be done. And then it just is some of the stuff's already mixed and mastered that's been completed, and then this stuff will get mixed and mastered, and we'll deliver it out to the label, and we'll be releasing a couple more tracks as we go down the line, and then releasing in middle of October.
Now, I know you got the M3 festival coming up too. We've been giving away some tickets for that as well. Sending some of our listeners down there for that. How much is it still fun for you guys to get out there on the road with the festival with like a bunch of bands you all came up with, and you get to like, see each other again? It's like, you got a little fatter, you got a little grayer.
Exactly. Yeah, we pick on each other. But I think the thing is too, I think we're in an era of gratitude right now. At least I know that we are. And it certainly seems like a lot of the bands we play with that are from, our time period and whatnot, we all kind of look at each other like, man, we're still here, and thank God we could still do this, It really is humbling. And we say every night on stage, how amazing it is that, that these people still show up and see us, and they allow us to play music for a living. And that really is an incredible gift, because when I first started doing this, it wasn't about money. It was about being able to express myself in a way that I couldn't express myself in any other outlet other than music. And I just wanted to be able to make a living at it. I wanted to be able to do this until I dropped. And I think we all felt that way. I think we all still feel that way. And now everyone's older, has families and stuff like that. You want to be able to make sure you provide a great life for your family and give them every opportunity to be successful. And so we have a pretty strong work ethic. I mean, we work pretty hard. We're going to be playing throughout the rest of the year into next year. We're going out and doing it's kind of a sporadic tour, but it's a tour called the Live to Rock Tour with Warrant and Winger. And whereas we always were all in competition with each other back in the late 80s, early 90s, there was never any animosity or anything like that. It was always healthy. We would play tours together. Of course, each band wanted to sell more records than the other guy, but it was a healthy competition, and we remained friends with all these people throughout the years. And so when the idea presented itself that we could put together a little package and go out and do select markets, everyone was like, yeah, what a great, it'll be a great thing. And it has been, because everybody works together so well and has such tremendous respect for one another. So
I'm good friends with Steve Brown from from Trickster.
Oh, one of my favorite people.
Yeah, he was telling me, like, we were chatting, and we were talking about like the not only the Jersey scene, but just how like the East Coast, like everyone was so supportive of each other back in the day, whereas opposed to when you went out west, it seemed the bands out in California were like way more competitive and talking trash. While he was telling me, I think it might have been one of you guys, like he had something with a guitar. An amp blew at a gig somewhere, and it was near one of your guys' houses, and when you went back and got your own like amp and brought it over, and
absolutely,
so Steve could finish his gig. It's like he was talking about how supportive the East Coast scene was. And I was like, and when I ever talk to some bands that are from like this area, it's like I feel like somebody needs to make a movie about like, I maybe do a documentary or just kind of make a movie about like what the East Coast scene, especially Jersey, was like, because it's hard to explain to people outside of our area, what it was like, for the rock clubs like Club Benet and Birch Hill and the Trade Winds and all and Studio One and like all those things, and I feel like there's a movie in there somewhere.
Oh my gosh, the Jersey scene, there was so much talent. And the breadth and the width of musical styles that were on any given night, you could see, John Bon Jovi playing here, and then Nuclear Assault playing there, and then oh gosh, what's the punk band's name that always escapes me? Vision playing over at City Gardens, stuff like that. It was a great environment to be young and hungry in, because everybody really was supportive of each other. Like I would learn so much from guys like Dave DiPietro from TT Quick and Kenny Dubbin from Prophet, Zach, of course. So it was a great breeding ground for all different types of music. And there was a big new wave scene, with Flossie and bands like that. And then there was the Jersey Shore sound with Backstreets and bands like that. A lot of cover bands. Vito Bratta was another guitar player who was from Staten Island, but he was in the Jersey scene the whole time. And, learning from him, opening up for his bands and stuff. And so my education was well formed in every one of those clubs.
Yeah, it was funny. Mike Tramp one time told me how he used to paint houses in Morristown. So you come to America for your dream and you're painting houses in Jersey.
Yeah, well, he had a better job than me. I had to sell tools out of the back of my trunk in mall parking lots, for God's sakes.
What are some of the jobs you guys had growing up? Because I worked at Action Park, and I worked at Action
Park. We used to call that.
Yep. And I'll never forget when Youth Gone Wild came out. Like I was behind the grill. We had a boom box set up there, and I'm just like flipping burgers all day long in a hot ass grill and no air conditioning.
Yeah.
And like all the New Yorkers yelling at you saying cheeseburger, cheeseburger, cheeseburger.
From SNL, right?
Yeah, and then Youth Gone Wild would come on, and just like the video, we're banging against the wall, and people are like, "These kids are nuts." It's like, hey, it's Action Park.
Right. Exactly, dude. I remember. Have you seen the documentary?
I did,
Oh,
and for someone who's worked there, I find that it's extremely accurate. Extremely
oh yeah.
accurate. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, you see, kids were coming out there banged up and busted up. It's just like, how could they not?
Did you guys have any Action Park stories? Did you have any tragedies there?
I don't have any.
Uh,
I don't even think I ever went there. If I did, it was only once. But Scotty used to go there, and I think Rachel would go there too. But I would be more down at like a Great Adventure guy.
yeah.
That was my spot. And plus, Great Adventure had like the Ramones play there and bands like that sometimes. So that was cool. But no, I was more drawn to that. I would have loved to have gone to just for the sheer thrill of what they were getting away with.
It was a magical time.
Sure
So one
was.
last thing. So now that you're, with the new singer, what do you say to critics who are like, okay, like you had this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy? It's like, you've been kind of going through the singers here over the course of Skid Row's. It's what, 30 plus years now, pushing 40 years, right?
We started. We actually, the band was first put together the late 85, early 86. So 36, 37 years. And which is incredible to me. I think about that. I'm like, wow. It's like, phew. So your wish is coming true,
Yeah.
It's, I hope people will be able to put aside any sort of negativity to just give the track a listen and give the new music a listen. And we don't lament the past at all. We embrace it and very proud of it, and very proud of every aspect of Skid Row's involvement. And that goes back to the very beginning up until today. And we still get to do this. I could say we haven't had as many singers as Black Sabbath, so we're doing pretty good on that front.
when it came to writing this record, though, when you found Erik, was the record written already, or did when you heard him sing, it's like, did it motivate you to maybe try different things in the writing process?
No. The record was already written, but what he showed us was what we heard in our head of what the songs could be, and even more. Like he's definitely taken it another notch up with certain things like we wrote, and there's certain melody lines, and he'll go in and go, well, can I just fool around with this? We're like, yeah, dude, this is, an open palette. Best idea wins.
Yeah.
And it's the way it's always been. And so he's come in and he has certainly been finding his voice within these songs.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing the rest of the album, because Gangs All Here is a great track. I mean, like you said, it's just such a fun track. And, I guess right as of now, the closest will be the M3 Festival. I'm sure eventually you got to do that Starland Ballroom date. I mean, that's the that's the old stomping ground show there.
It's my hometown.
Yeah.
I used to be a bar manager there when it was Willie's.
You weren't there for Hunka Bunka though, huh?
Oh, I was.
Oh yeah.
I was still part of it for a little while. Got to be too much dancey for me, but I was there. The whole building and transition of that thing I was there for.
Well, Snake, I want to thank you for some time this afternoon to talk to us, and the new album in October. We look forward to it. I'll definitely sneak a few spins on my hard rock alarm clock at 6:45 in the morning.
Nice.
The MGM morning show. That's right. So I'll throw it in there when we get the interview aired up there. And keep doing what you're doing. Been a fan for a long time, and like I said, you've inspired me from the Action Park days all the way till today.
Thanks, buddy boy. I appreciate that, Matt. Thanks for your time, and I hope to see you and talk to you again soon.
All right, sounds good. Have a good time in Vegas. All right,
all right,
put it all in black.
Be well. Bye-bye.
All right, take care.